The introduction of inflation in economies can be traced back to ancient civilizations, where rulers and governments manipulated the value of currency as a means of asserting control and financing their activities. Inflation became a tool for governments to generate revenue without explicitly levying taxes. By gradually reducing the value of currency, they effectively taxed the purchasing power and savings of their citizens. Inflation enabled governments to accumulate wealth, fund public projects, and sustain their operations. It gave them greater power and resources to maintain armies, build infrastructure, and engage in political endeavors. Additionally, inflation allowed governments to repay debts with less valuable currency, effectively reducing their financial burdens. The power of governments to introduce and manipulate inflation was often associated with the authority to issue and control currency. This authority enabled them to influence economic conditions and shape the distribution of wealth within society. Over time, the establishment of central banks and monetary authorities further consolidated governments' control over monetary policy and inflation rates. While inflation allowed governments to assert power and sustain themselves, it also had significant implications for individuals and the economy as a whole. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of money, reducing the value of savings and fixed incomes. It can disrupt economic stability, create uncertainty, and disproportionately affect vulnerable populations. The introduction of inflation as a monetary policy tool gave governments significant financial leverage and influenced their authority. It remains a crucial aspect of modern economies, with central banks carefully managing inflation rates to strike a balance between economic growth, stability, and the welfare of citizens. Governments closely monitor economic indicators and employ various tools to determine when to stop increasing interest rates after a downturn in the economy. Central banks, for instance, play a key role in managing monetary policy and setting interest rates. When the economy experiences a downturn, such as a recession or a period of low growth, the government may initially increase interest rates to control inflation or stabilize the currency. However, there comes a point where the government needs to strike a balance and avoid excessive tightening, which could further hinder economic activity and impede recovery. The government aims to achieve sustainable economic growth, maintain price stability, and promote employment. Continuously increasing rates without considering the overall economic conditions may lead to reduced investment, decreased consumer spending, and potential long-term negative effects. Governments are aware that increasing interest rates can have differential effects on different segments of society, potentially perpetuating income inequalities. When interest rates rise, borrowing becomes more expensive, which can disproportionately affect those with lower incomes who rely on credit for various purposes, such as education, housing, or small business financing. This can hinder their ability to access affordable credit and, in turn, limit their economic mobility. On the other hand, higher interest rates may benefit the wealthy who have substantial investments and savings. As rates increase, returns on investments like stocks, bonds, or real estate can potentially grow, leading to wealth accumulation for those who have significant financial assets.